Hello, Cheese Puffs. Daniel here. Welcome back to another episode of Functional the Aftershock, the show where we talk about all things functional. And this week's episode. This week we have Jacob Barnes back in the building. We are back with Mr. Jacob Barnes. Jacob, how are you?
I'm doing good.
We're still not going to do that. Anyways. Well, let's talk about this episode. Okay, so let's retrace our steps. Where did we end off? So last week, Guillermo and Tim had the date of the century. They bonded. They had so much fun. It ended with a nice kiss, but all of a sudden, boom, Guillermo is blacked out in his room. So where do we pick off? Exactly the next morning, the big meeting that Tim has been trying to prepare for. Right?
Yeah. Throughout the season, Tim has been working towards this goal to present this business presentation to these investors, and it's this big buildup. And finally, when he gets the chance to show his goods,
shows his goods. I'm dying. Shows his goods, Daniel.
So this whole season, we were prepping for this meeting that Tim was getting ready for, right?
Right, yeah. Throughout the whole season, he's preparing for this big meeting for these investors, and finally, the day that it happens, he's too hungover from the night before to make it there. But luckily, Guillermo's there to help him out.
Yeah. So we pick off with Carla, which, oh my God, shout out to
Victoria.
So funny. Meets Guillermo in the bathroom. Then we go with the client meeting that Guillermo just tries to pull off. You know, he still has his insecurities, but he pulls it off pretty well because Carla is actually really impressed. But then, boom, we meet a very hungover Tim.
Yes, and I think Tim, at that moment, even though it's a good thing that Guillermo steps in and helps him, I think there's a part of Tim that is rather upset and feels like he had his thunder stolen from him.
Yeah, like we finally kind of get to see a little bit behind, you know, that like structured Tim that we've seen all season, where he's just like, you know, this is work, this is whatever.
Yeah.
You know, we kind of let that armor down because he's already like kind of seeing him at his rise, which is really amazing to see about Tim. So bummer, Tim does not get to present what he wanted. And Guillermo actually gets a job opportunity, so good or bad, I don't know. Then we kind of pick off with Guillermo still on cloud nine with Tim. He kind of forces himself to take Tim home, which I don't think at this point Guillermo has been reading like any social cues at all. So in the car, Guillermo is trying to, you know, get Tim to talk. Tim is not having it.
Yeah, it's he's not having it because, one, I think he's a little pissed at you, but also, you ever been so damn hungover that you just don't want to fucking talk to anybody?
Right now,
yeah.
This is me.
It's kind of a combination of both, you know, being a little annoyed and hungover, and both of those things together is not a good combination for a conversation.
Yeah. So, I don't know, Tim is not having it. Drops off Tim, and then boom, here comes the heartbreak. All of a sudden, Tim is in a real relationship, and it's very serious, apparently, which...
Yeah, when we were doing this, scene, I found it very interesting that throughout the entire season, Tim never once mentions that he's in a relationship, especially one that he says as serious as it is. So I think that speaks volumes to the story.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. I mean, it's like, I don't know who to blame for. I mean, right now, Guillermo is, well, I mean, both people are blamed. Guillermo is on some other different level. Tim, I don't know if you can really blame him. Like, do you really want to tell about your personal life to a coworker? But are they close? We don't know. Kind of? I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, so boom, we leave with that. Guillermo goes home and then realizes, also another plot twist, that amazing kiss actually did not go the way it planned. You've ever been so drunk that you make up with someone in the bathroom?
No.
But yeah, apparently it was not the way Guillermo intended, and so now we're stuck with Guillermo living in his own mess.
Yes.
Literally. Well, anyways, do you think Guillermo's crazy? Do you think that there's maybe some connection with Tim?
I don't think he's crazy, no. I mean, Tim is a rather stiff individual, for lack of a better term, and he doesn't express himself fully. But I also don't believe that he would have gone on the date in the first place had there not been some sort of something.
Yeah, there was no ground rules. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what was happening there. Do you think Tim's happy? We don't really know much about him, but do you think he's a happy individual?
I think he's happy when he's at work.
Which you did say before. But again, we don't really know much about him, and Guillermo's just kind of putting him on this other level that we kind of don't know much about, which is again kind of interesting to see what's going to happen with him in the end. Well, what a bummer. I mean, we kind of started at a very, kind of started with Guillermo hungover, now he's like really hungover at the end of the episode. There is only 3 more episodes left this season, so I don't know what's going to get wrapped up now.
Yeah.
Anyways, thank you once again, Jacob.
Sure.
It's a pleasure, and thank you so much for being on this season.
Thank you so much.
I would like to offer you a watermelon shot.
Wow, look at this thing.
Once again, we do not condone reckless drinking. Please drink responsibly. Cheers, Jacob.
Cheers.
It's actually-
Oh, God.
Actually,
That's
it's rum.
terrible.
It's rum.
Oh.
Anyways, thank you so much. He's good. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next week for another episode of Functional The Aftershot. You're funny. Calm down.
He hates rum.
I'm aware. Oh, I didn't put the hot sauce in and the lime juice. It makes it look better.
Oh, I was like, that would have been good, actually.
Yeah.
I wanted some of that.
You're fine.